I started this project at the Habitat for Humanity Restore, digging through a stack of discarded shutters. Once I got back to the shop, I measured out the length and cut each shutter in half. With 2 long shutters, that gave me 4 equal pieces to work with. But for the cuts, I used an oscillating tool to keep things nice and clean. I took 2 of the shutter pieces and lined them up along the long edge, slipping one slightly inside the other. Then I locked them in place with a couple of screws, one at the top, one at the bottom. After doing that for all 4 sides, the structure was ready. I took everything outside and hit it with a flat black spray paint. Spray paint really shines on projects like this. Using some 1x4 boards, I cut 4 pieces. I assembled the frame using brad nails, keeping everything square and tight. Then I set that frame on top of some 1/4-inch Lawan plywood and traced it out to create a perfectly sized bottom panel. I used a few pieces of scrap wood underneath the base for added support. Once both pieces were assembled, they went outside for paint to match the shutters. Before setting in place, I cut out a hole on the top cap, just enough to drop in a set of solar lights. During the day, it looks like a simple, stylish porch piece. But as the sun goes down, those lights kick on. Not bad for something that started as a pile of old shutters. Today's project has me going down to the hardware store to grab some 1x6s. These are 6 foot long, so I need to cut them right down the middle at 36 inches. But it's a little bit bigger than 6 feet, so I'm going to trim it at 36 inches, turn it around, and I got a tiny bit more I got to cut off. Just throw that scrap away. I don't need that. Once I got 4 of these pieces, I'm going to stack them all up and make sure they are exactly the same length. Now I'm going to take one, set it up on a side, another one on the side, and put a top on it. What I need to do is build a wooden box. I'm going to use brad nails on one end, and then I'm going to go all the way down to the other end and put some more brad nails in and then work my way back. Every 6 inches, I'm going to put a brad nail. They're about 1 1/4 inch size. Once I get all those in, I'm going to flip it around and do the same on the other side. It's easier to work when the piece is closer to you. So again, one on one side, measure it and keep going. Then I'm going to turn it on its side and put the last piece in. Once I get that done, I'm going to start cutting some of this 1x6 at 45-degree angles. I'm going to build the base. I'm going to measure and cut as I go. Instead of using a tape measure, I like to actually stick the wood right on there and get some perfect cuts. That way I only have to cut once. I'm going to brad nail it all around the edge, and it's going to make a perfect base, and it's actually going to look really good once it gets flipped over. Then I'm going to take some fir strips. These are only $4 for an 8-foot length, and I'm going to use those to put a trim around the bottom. Again, cut at 45-degree angles all the way around, and I'm going to use the boards themselves to mark and cut. I use the same size brad nails to go through the boards, and they hold up perfectly. I could use some wood glue to keep them in place, but these brad nails do work great. Once I get that done, it's time to work on the top. I'm going to use a 1x3 on the top here. Again, using 45-degree angles and going all the way around. I'm going to leave a little hole in the center, and I'll show you that later. But I do need one little board onto the bottom to hold it in place. Then I'm going to take a 1/2-inch drill bit, and I'm going to start drilling through the boards like Swiss cheese. I'm going to put just a few in, blow off the sawdust, and then I'm going to go to the next size up. I'm going to use 1 inch here. Again, putting holes in. I'm going to use 1/2 inch, 3/4 and 1 inch, and then I'm going to give it a light sanding all the way around. And now it's time to put the finish on, and I'm going to use a torch. Not going to use wood stain. Now, torching it gives it actually a really good, nice finish. Just take the torch, not too close, and don't keep it in one spot too long, and you're going to watch these grains just start to pop out. I'm going to do the whole side, every one of them, and get it all looking really nice. You can put some polyurethane on if you want, but I didn't do it on this case. Next is some solar lights. I got 2 of them. They're string lights. They're going to charge up during the day, fit right in place. I'm going to string them up and down on the inside core, put this in place, and it just looks great. And when the sun goes down, they light up. And then when the sun is really down, look at that. It just glows and looks magical. I love the look at this. I think it turned out great, and hope it inspired you to make your really cheap, inexpensive wood post that lights up. For today's project, I headed down to my local hardware store and I grabbed one of these solar lights. First thing I got to do though, is I went ahead and bought a pre-made fence post. And this is going to be great. It's already primed, but I do need to add some paint. it's best to get some high quality outdoor paint. I'm going to paint this one white. The next step was to get my house numbers. I wanted to lay those out about the middle of the post. When I put them in, I do want to pre-drill. It does come with nails, but I don't want to pound on it and damage the number. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill and they'll go in pretty easy. Once I get the first number on, I'm going to go up from there and do my middle number and my last number. Once I get those installed and they're looking good, then I head it on down to Dollar Tree and I grab one of these stands right here. All I need though on this stand is the bottom part. I need that U shape. Once I put the saw on it a couple of times, it clips right off. Look at that. Back and forth and it'll come right off. Now back to that solar light. I don't need the bottom portion. I can get rid of that. And then I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom. The reason is I want to drill a hole just big enough for the metal stand to go through. Once I get that all the way through, then I'm going to go ahead and take it and put it on there and it should pop right into place. And it's also cool because it can rotate on there and it holds it up pretty nice. Now it's time to attach it to the post. This is pretty simple. I'm just going to use some electrical clips that go on there. I just need 2. You can put 3 if you want. They screw in really nice. Once I got that, it rotates up and it's ready for the light. I noticed that the stand is going to go too far into the pot that I bought. So what I want to do is nail this little fence picket on just to give it a little bit of an extra oomph on the bottom. The next step is to add some concrete. As you can see, I always put water in the bottom so it doesn't stick, and then I put the concrete in and then put some more water on top. You can hand mix it if you want, but I went ahead and used a paddle, put it on my drill, and kept mixing. Again, just add a little bit of water as you need. Don't put too much water in. And you want to get to a consistency where the post can go inside the pot. Now, I'm going to slip it on down, push it all the way to the bottom, and that's okay if it doesn't cover everything because we have a solution in the end. But we need to hold this up while the concrete is drying overnight. I just took 2 boards, put them right across the top with some clamps. Make sure it's straight and level and it holds up. The next day after the concrete dries, I can take those off and it's really strong. Look at this. It holds pretty nice and it's not going to go anywhere. And it's got a good strong base. I'm going to put some drain holes in the bottom. Go ahead and put it where I want next to my house. And then I'm going to add some potting soil. Good quality potting soil. Don't skimp on that because when we plant, we want to make sure it's good. And make sure we don't have any unwanted guests hanging around. I'm going to go ahead and plant some flowers in there and make it look really nice. Once I get all these planted, I want to make sure that I add some water because they're starters, get a good root system going, and then it's time to put on that solar light. Again, we're going to take that stand, put it on there, and look at this. This thing looks absolutely amazing. I love it with the house numbers on there and everything. And when night comes, watch this. It's absolutely going to glow and give a nice special effect. I love it. Charges during the day and it glows up at night. I hope this inspired you to go ahead and build your own solar-powered house planter numbers. I thought it turned out great. And hey, thank you for watching Home Talk, and we'll catch you next time.